welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be working through my March 2022 bullet journal setup, working inside of my everyday planner. Now my everyday planner is a notebook where I document anything and everything I need to remember that has to do with my family or my home life. Now this month, I have chosen a color palette and a theme that really represents this rebirth and the spring vibes that are starting to make their appearance here in the state of Michigan. We are sometimes in a state of the weather not being able to make up its mind, so the idea of bringing in some soothing green tones and brown tones to create this sense of peace and calm seemed perfect for the month of March. Now, before we get into the actual putting together of the pages here at my desk, I do first want to shout out a couple of YouTube channels where I have drawn massive inspiration from in my layouts this month. The first is Lauren Nicole. Lauren's channel was so important for me because she helped me see that there are simple layouts that I can create as a newbie to bullet journaling that make this really approachable for me. You will see a lot of the ideas that she creates in her layouts replicated inside of mine because it was the perfect starting place for me this month. The second channel is the Plant-Based Bride. Elizabeth has a more artistic type of look to her pages, but I just love the super cool, kind of clean, but still artsy vibe that she's got going on. I also love how she included some of her social media stuff inside of her notebooks, and I just drew a lot of inspiration, especially for the color theme this month from her channel. The last one I want to mention is Claire Marie B. Claire Marie has an awesome title page that I knew I could replicate using some of the stamps that I have in my collection. So my title page is going to look a lot like her title page because I drew inspiration from her this month. Hey friends, pausing here for just a second to mention one last channel that I forgot in this intro. And although I am not replicating any of her pages in my journal today, I do want to mention my friend Heba Alsabai, who is my little journal here on YouTube, for her inspiration in using stamps in my journals. Watching her create her notebooks with stamping instead of hand lettering really opened the door for these types of projects to be approachable for me. So I don't want to go any further without throwing her name into the mix and letting you know that her information will also be in the description box down below. Okay, let's get back to the show. All right, friends, let's go ahead and grab our beverages. Let's meet over at my table and get started planning together. All right, friends, first off, let's talk about supplies that I'm using today. I have the green colored mild liners for my marker pens. I've also pulled out 3 different colored inks from Ali Edwards. They are pigment style inks, so the ink is going to stay on top of the page, and I don't have to worry about it bleeding through to the pages behind it. The 3 colors that I have chosen are Wilmette and Mackenzie, which are the 2 greens, the lighter green and the darker green, and then St. Helen, which is that taupey brown color that's got a green undertone to that one as well. So it mixes super well with the other 2 green colors. I'm also going to be using my archival black ink from Close to My Heart throughout all of the pages. So you're going to see that one come out a whole bunch. Now for the design of these pages, I wanted the left side of my page to be a quote, and I just chose simply Hello Spring, which I stamped out using my Ali Edwards Variety Alpha stamp. This stamp set in particular comes with, I believe, 4 different fonts in a very small size, which is perfect for allowing me lots of options for stamping out titles like this in my book. Then for my March title, which you're going to see all of my March titles or all of my main titles or headers on my layouts are going to be using that lined alpha, which is also from Ali Edwards. Those, each individual alphabet letter is roughly 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches. There is some variability there depending on the size and shape of the alphabet letter itself, but they fit perfectly across the spread here for the word March. I also grabbed the Around Here subtitle from a Ali Edwards Stories by the Month stamp from March. I believe it was March 2020, but it also could have been 2021. I can't quite remember what year that was. Included on that stamp set was also this square pattern, which has some leafy bits in it. It's got some floral pieces in it, and it just felt very fresh and like, I don't know, like growth, which to me was perfect for making a March layout with. I was also inspired by the cover page from Claire Marie B, who did something very similar to this, where she made a grid around her title, around her month title. Once I saw that, and knowing I had a bunch of stamps that had a similar shape to them, I knew I could recreate the same look. So that's what I went for. The only thing I will say is I wish that I had put the March word just down a little bit further, but it's okay. I still am very happy with how this layout turned out. I used all 3 of those colored inks to create my pattern grid, and then used my fine liner to draw a border around the outside, helping to give it all kind of a closed in, more grounded feeling. So the next layout we're working on here is my monthly calendar. For this one, I wanted it to be closed in. So I prefer to have boxes that are specifically designated for the different days rather than the more open type of calendar where there are not the vertical lines, only the horizontal lines. So for me, I prefer it to be closed in as a box. That way I can write my stuff into the calendar days and I know exactly which day it is associated to. So I have drawn out my calendar here, and I'm going to add my month titles and my day titles, or I should say my days of the week, and then the specific numbers at the top of the boxes. To help give those a little bit more visibility on my page, I am using the green mild liner to create some color background that I will then add my titles on top of. One of the things I have learned about using mild liners is it's much easier to color first and then to add my writing or my stamping on top of the color, because it gives it a much more vibrant look and it doesn't smear the ink as I am coloring. So that's why I chose to go ahead and color everything first. Then I took those same lined alphabet stamps from earlier, stamped out my March title across the top left side of this calendar. And then I have a very small stamp set from Carrie Bradford Studio. And this one has the months of the year and the days of the week that are all written out. These were perfect for adding those weekly titles up at the top of my calendar. So I stamped those all out so that it says Sunday through Saturday. I'm going to hand write out all of the numbers for the various days. And then on the right-hand side of this layout, I have 3 sections that I have set aside where I'm going to put 3 big goals for the month. I'm going to try that out because I don't necessarily need to have an events bar since the events are going to go inside of the calendar. I felt like I didn't need a separate spot for those as well. So instead, I'm going to use this as some goal tracking. To help bring some of the same design elements into the calendar page, I had 3 spots marked out where I wanted to add more of those square floral elements. So I have a corner down at the bottom and then 2 up near the title piece. This is the only weekly spread that I'm going to show you inside of this video, but I do have another video coming later this week where I will share all 4 of the remaining weekly spreads for March. March is a 5-week month, so we're gonna have 1 here and then 4 coming. I felt like I just wanted to show you 1 to give you an example of what this would look like here and not have my video be super duper long. So for me, this is something, or this was the portion of the bullet journal that I took inspiration from other people when I was watching their videos, but I still couldn't find anybody that had layouts that I needed. So I needed a space where I could write in the things that were happening during the day, things like, you know, beach day on Friday for my daughter's school, or an event that's happening on Saturday, or book club on Thursday, you know, those types of things. I'm not planning to document anything work related in this book because I have a whole separate planner for work. So I don't need a ton of space to write out my daily activities. I just need enough where I can keep track of those things as the days go on. But since I am also working on meal planning for my family and we have chores that we need to get done throughout the week, I wanted those to have a place in my weekly layouts as well. So underneath my title, you can see where I stamped out the word March yet again. Underneath my title, I have a box that has 7 spaces in it for me to write in the meals for throughout the week. I have Monday through Sunday because that's typically how I like to view a week, is Monday through Sunday. And then I also have a larger box in the bottom right-hand corner of this layout that says chores. For that one, I have specific chores that I like to do every single day. So it's kind of a quote unquote daily tracker for chores. That's making our bed, that's vacuuming the main floors because my kids make disaster messes every day. That is doing a load of laundry. I have wiping down the counters, cleaning the sink. And then I am missing one. Oh, declutter. So to just put away the clutter stuff and hit the hot spots of our house. So I have those listed out, and then I have a box for every day of the week where I can check those off on the day when that task is done. That is a portion of planning that I really appreciated inside of my Clean Mama planner. Just the rest of that planner was not working out for me. So I'm hoping that this will bring that element into my weekly planning, but will allow me to document the other things that I was missing out from my other planner situation. For the monthly boxes, I used that same floral square stamp up in the corner and then stamped in the day of the week and the number of the week. So that goes from February 28th through March 6th. And then the rest of that square I can use to write in the events or activities that are happening on that specific day. So now we're going to skip over the rest of the weekly layouts. We'll come back to those later this week. And I'm going to move on to my habit tracker and my mood tracker. Now, a mood tracker is new to me. I've never done anything like this before. I really love the concept of tracking moods and seeing patterns as they happen throughout the course of the month and the year. So what I started with was stamping up my titles, so the habit title and the mood title, using that same Ali Edwards lined alpha stamp. So keeping the titles very consistent from spread to spread. For the mood tracker, I then have this circle stamp, and there's one that has kind of a dot pattern and one that has a filled in color block. So what I have done is taken the kind of speckledy dotted pattern circle, and I used a silver lightish gray type of color to stamp out a circle in each square that represents that day of the month. And I will eventually go in and erase those lines, so it will just be this dot pattern all over the mood tracker side. When I am filling in my mood tracker, my plan is to take the bold filled in circle stamp that in the color, and then put that over top of the silver polka dotted one, if that makes sense. So the silver circle gives me the placement for where to put my color circle stamp. Then on the left-hand side here for my habit trackers, I am using banners in this horizontal manner where I have a little tiny square to check off for each day of the month that I complete my habit. My habits that I'm tracking this month are to wake up at 6 a.m., to brush my teeth twice a day, to take care of my skincare, to read at some point in the day, to journal at some point in the day, and to drink 4 cups of water every day, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm not super great at drinking water. I'm super great at drinking coffee. So I would like to drink more water in the day, and 4 seemed very doable. Now, this last spread that I'm working on right here is a cleaning tracker for my weekly tasks. So every day of the week, I try to clean one area of the house. It could be a main room, a bathroom, a bedroom, and so on and so forth. So what I did for my cleaning tracker is I have all of the areas set up in a column, and then I have the week number next to that. So I'll check it off if it's week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on. And then I also have a daily gratitude tracker. This is a final flip through of all the pages I created. I've slowed this down so you can get a better look at everything inside of my monthly pages here. I'm going to be back later this week with another video taking you through the rest of my weekly layouts. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video.